offers to bring us together for this beautiful gift all the way from Australia. Thank you, Helen. I have a quiz, so I'm just, I'm that person who's filling in the space as people find seats. May I have the assistance of Apu? Come, assist me. Come. So who can tell me what is the capital of South Korea? Hands up! Great. Seoul. Seoul to the women in green. Wonderful. What is the name of the conference that you have attended? Sir! Okay, he has to think about it. Hands up. What is the name of the conference that you have attended, that you are here today for? Hey, give it to her, if she gets it right. Oh my gosh, that sounds right. That sounds right. So it's just my job, just to I know. Good attendance, good attendance. Here we go, thank you. And here comes the next question. What is the capital of Fiji? Hands up. Sakona. Fiji. Spell it. He's got it right. Well done. Thank you, Professor. That's why you went to school. Here's the next one. What is the name of the tourist attraction in Jakarta, Indonesia? It has to do with the geography of Indonesia. What is it called? Okay, next question. What is my name? Hands up! Oh, give this to her. What is the authentic indigenous name of New Zealand? Hands up! Oh, spell it! He remembers AO, but he's got amnesia for the rest. Spell it, sir.
A-O-T-E-A-R-O-A.
Give that to that gentleman with the fine handsome gentleman. And please, would you give this wonderful gift to our wonderful guest here who did so try. The last one. Here we go. What is the name of the Global Greens ambassador? What is her name? You, sir. Millen?
Yeah.
No, not as far as I thought. But close. You stay out of the competition. Yes. Oh, give it to that fine gentleman who had the right answer. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a wonderful applause like this. Two hands, fingers, let's hear it. Great. And so, it would seem that I don't need a microphone.
Tuatahi he mihi nui ki a koutou katoa I te whānau whānui ka kāriki no ngā haue whā o te ao katoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll just turn it on for you. There is one thing that you all have in common with us. You are as good looking as we are. Thumbs up if you agree. Then you are in the right room. May I ask our host, Mr. Kim, to welcome you to this our room, to this the Convencia, to this Incheon, to this South Korea. Thank you. Give them a encouragement. Mahalo. The other one that I want you to learn is mahalo. Repeat after me. Mahalo. And that is thank you in Hawaii.
Hi.
Welcome to Korea. I'm the co-chairperson of Green Party Korea. I'm Chani Kim. The Green Party of Korea welcomes all of our Asia Pacific Green Party friends. The Asia Pacific region has many common concerns related to climate change. We hope that this 4-day event will be an opportunity to share those concerns and find solutions together. We wish you all the best in Korea. Welcome.
And so, one of the good-looking people who has indeed co-convened with a fine pair of amazing charismatic greeners is Mr. Tika Bandari. Please welcome him aboard. This is your co-convener, APGF 2023. This is your co-convener, Are Zukri 2023. It feels like I'm and also our deputy co-convener, Iram Salim.
Welcome. Good morning, dear Greens, Global Green member, dignitaries, officials of your respective parties, elders, leaders, and young leaders. As they say in my beloved country, Nepal, namaskar to you all. Namaskar. I am excited by our theme of this Congress, uniting and empowering the world's green movement. It means that you and me, we have the power to unite and empower because we are the green movement, we are the global people gathered here to make difference with our thinking, talking, and we must have laughter. And then, how fantastic we get to return to our homelands and think, talk, laugh, some more and more importantly, make more difference after you. If we ever needed to make sure that we are united, it is now. Our APGF can make a difference, and that will only happen if you commit to your parties, you sign our APGF signs. That is the real change maker, and that is the real Greens. Thank you to APGF Executive, you make life easier. Thank you to APGF Council, you make the meetings possible and very interesting. Thank you the alternates, you turn up when it's raining. We are struggling for quorum. You make the sun shiny when you turn up, passion, asking questions, sometimes loudly and sometimes you really know how to use social media also loudly too. But let's turn our attention to uniting our federation. That happens a lot more when we value each other, work hard to respect each other. That is the real key to empowerment, that even though you may not think much of your neighbor or next party over, you will work hard to find something to like, something to respect. Personally, we all have to produce something inside so that respecting you comes easy for other people. Then you don't have to ask for it. It is given to you, just like a gift, and that gift you will treasure. So treat the fact that you and I and we are all here is your gift from Asia Pacific Green Federation. Asia Pacific Green Federation is not a funding body. Please remember, they are not for profit, is our secretariat too. They have worked hard for us. Please may I ask for your appreciation and show of hands to thank them for their hard work. The fact that you and I are here, it is a gift. Treasure. Treasure it. Get as much as you can out of the opportunity to amongst the leader, great and small. If you have done your homework before you came, you should know as many of the people in the room as it is possible to know because of Google and because of you care to know each other. This is a unique platform. This is Global Green Congress. It's like a village of families. Some families get in really well, others not so much. So we urge you, treat your extended family well. We are the host. That will be the real unity we can show each other, shower each other, not against each other, but with each other. Those strong intents will empower the person sitting next to you. The one you sit and have breakfast with each morning, the one you pass, you run to the next session. Be kind, be clear, be green. We have the power, each and every one of us empower one another. My challenge and our challenge is that when you return home, you should not be tired. You should be re-energized to do the work you must do as a green, because you and me, we are the movement together. As I'm welcoming you, I would like to thank, and special thanks to Michelle Seather, if I pronounce well, Michelle Seather. You found a way to get our APGF members here. You helped to get us as many people from APGF here possible and worked for us on the Congress Organizing Committee actively and continuously. This success is possible due to your effort also. I would like to have a round of applause for Michelle. And special thanks to our directors, Kathy and Dominic also. They are always supportive. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Kristen Milne, our Global Greens ambassador. Thank you for your support. Special thanks to the Global Greens Secretariat. You make it easy for us to be here amongst our own. Cordial thanks to my co-conveners, Ade and Iram. And General Secretary Pefi Kingi and Secretariat of APGF as well. My thanks goes to IDC from Australia for tremendous support to APGF and its members. And not to forget all the individuals and institutional donors for donating as much as you can. Thank you so much for your donations. And again, the Green Party of Korea, with lots of struggles and lots of effort, they made it possible. Special thanks goes to the Green Party of Korea. We are all part of the Green movement. We are all important. May you continue to shine. May you continue to be the change that you want to see in the world. You are APGF. Continue to unite and empower. You are the Green movement. As I started, Namaskar. Stay united and empowering. Namaskar.
Thank you. And we will also have very, very brief greetings from our other two co-conveners. Please, when you come up, you must stand at this lectern because our families, extended families on site and on net cannot hear us. So apologies for that. We figured out how to turn on the microphone. That was important. So now you can actually stand here and be seen by our peoples who are anticipating seeing you right here. So may I ask Ade to come forward and stand here as you deliver your 1 minute, and also Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Good morning and 안녕하세요. Welcome to show, and I hope the Global Green Congress has a spirit for us to build unity, solidarity, and respect to humanity. And we also thanks too for all people, and especially for Green Korea Party, to set up and create this amazing our meeting, and to everyone who support us and to manage well for APGF. Strong, going to strong, going to more power, and long life for everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Assalamu alaikum. We greet like this and in Pakistan. Welcome to the APGF Forum. I'm proudly standing here as Green, and I'm really grateful to the Federation for giving me opportunity to be a part of this Congress. As Deputy Convener of Asia Pacific Green Federation, I tried my level best. I believe that by working together, we can create better future for all. And I'm available here to support all my Green Fellows. Thank you so very much, and a special thank to our Green Party of Korea. Thank you so very much.
Just while we have a little pause, I have another little gift for you, all the way from Australia. Joseph, where is our next lot of goodies? Okay, so he's left the room. Joseph has left the building. Apologies for that, he has to go see to the young Greens. But here is a promise. I will personally give you something from Australia. We might get my hands on it. I'm just filling in time, ladies and gentlemen. What is the capital? What is the capital of Papua New Guinea? Okay, we have a raised hand. We have a raised hand in the red.
I actually don't know, but I guess Port Moresby. Port Moresby. Port Moresby.
Can you spell it, sir?
Oh, gee. Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay. P-O-R-T M-O-R-E-S-B-Y.
You are so lucky. There is something coming your way. Thank you for allowing me to fill the time. Over to my co-facilitator, Ropata.
Kia ora anō koutou, just by way of introduction, I'm Ropata Moore, the co-convener of the Green Party of Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it's my privilege to invite the Global Greens Ambassador, Christine Miller.
Good morning everyone, and a big thank you to our Korean hosts. This has been a huge effort from them to get the Global Greens Congress here in Korea, and I remember in Liverpool they were so excited about being able to host us, and then of course COVID hit and everything was delayed, everything was extremely difficult. And so I think we owe them a particular thanks, because I think this Congress is going to be fantastic. I'm the Global Greens Ambassador. I was in Australian politics for 25 years, but I was also a Vice President of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, and I've done quite a lot of work in the UNFCCC climate process. So I absolutely am committed to a Global Greens that is genuinely global, not just regional, global. And that is something that I think it's easy to forget when you're in parliaments in a particular country or a particular region. You look at that region and not reach out. Well, here in the Asia Pacific, We desperately need the European Union to reach out to us and to help, and the Australian and New Zealand Greens to reach out to other parties in the region to help. So as you are speaking to people at this Congress, please keep that in mind. In terms of what we hope to get from this Congress, it's to build the global spirit, to build the global cooperation. So whatever else you do here, please just reach out to other people, build those relationships so that, as we just heard, when you go home, you can utilise those relationships for the better for the region. This is a region where people are desperately committed to change, but electoral systems prohibit election in many cases, and it's not just the law that prohibits the election, it's the cost. Raising money in the region is not easy, and so we have to really become creative and think about how we can support each other. And so as the Global Greens Ambassador, I'm keen to work with parties and with elected MPs to try to build that collaboration and support one another. So thank you for the effort you've made to get here. Thank you for, in anticipation of all that you're going to do while you are here, but more particularly, thank you for having a global perspective, because we can't win the battles against climate, against biodiversity loss, against authoritarianism, against nuclear weapons, unless we take a global perspective. So thank you very much. I look forward to engaging with you.
Thank you so much for allowing Ropata and I to be your facilitators. We will indeed facilitate the process, but we will manipulate the time with your permission. And so saying, grab one thing that our ambassador said that you want to insert in your head. You have 3 seconds. Next thing, grab something that the ambassador said that struck your heart. Rest it there. Good. Thank you for allowing me to do that with you. I'll check in with you every so often, because in a multilingual class, room, context, landscape, we need to check each other, we need to check one another, and that is what familial characteristics look like at this present time. So thank you, our ambassador. I have the great privilege of introducing our next speaker. She is a First Nations woman, and she comes from a very proud line of a very specialised technical expertise that I really loved listening to. I hope that you too will have the same feeling about what she has to share with us. She's currently a councillor, and you know that's hard work to try and get into public representation. So ladies and gentlemen, get these 2 fingers ready, and please welcome Trish Frail to the microphone. Stage is yours, ma'am.
Thanks, and thanks everybody. So I'm a Nambar woman from Warrana, which is about 1,000 kilometres from Sydney out west. It's a small, rural and remote community. But the first thing I really have to do is acknowledge the fact that I'm not on country, and that I acknowledge the Korean people and the fact that the spirits have allowed us to be here. So thank you very, very much. And that is an acknowledgement that it doesn't matter where we go in Australia, we have to acknowledge that we're either on country, and we welcome people on country, or we acknowledge that we are not on country, and so we just say that we thank people for allowing us to be there. What Fever was just talking about what I come from. I come from the, we have the oldest man-made structure in the world at our river, and that is the fish traps. And on Saturday I'll be actually giving a talk about the fish traps. But 65,000 years, that's where I come from, which is, it's like the pyramids weren't even thought of when our fish traps were built. And we continuously look after it until European people came 200 years ago, and we are now not allowed to look after the fish traps how we used to, and our families don't know how to do it anymore. But not a big deal, we'll get there, we'll get it back. As I said, I'm a counsellor and I'm the co-convener of the Australian Greens First Nations sorry. Yeah, so there's quite a few of us, and we're all over Australia, and we actually work and we provide advice to the Greens about First Nations issues. We also listen to what the community is saying, and we take those issues on and we take it back to Parliament and see what we can do for the benefit of First Nations people. So I think that's all I needed to say. I didn't have anything prepared, so I do apologise, and thank you very much.
Kia ora, and thank you for sharing with us. The next speaker who I have the privilege of inviting up to the podium is Jenny Leong, an MP from the Australian Greens.
Hello everybody, my name is Jenny Leong. I'm a Greens Member of Parliament in Australia, in the New South Wales Parliament. It's wonderful to be here with you all. I would like to join with Trish and acknowledge that the country that I represent in Australia is part of the Gadigal country of the Eora Nation, and to pay respects to the elders past and present of the country that I have the privilege of representing in the New South Wales Parliament, and recognise that the ongoing struggle for justice and for sovereignty for First Nations people in Australia continues. Australia has a very dark and concerning history of colonisation, and I want to offer my solidarity and support particularly to the Australian Greens First Nations Network that are here with us at this Global Congress today, and encourage all of us to do whatever we can to offer our support to the formation of a First Nations network for the Global Greens. It is long overdue and something that hopefully we come out of this Congress with. Thank you so much to our facilitators for the opportunity to speak, and thank you also to the Green Party of Korea for having us at this Global Congress. I have been a member of the Greens for over 2 decades, but this is my first ever Greens Global Congress, and I'm very, very excited to be here. It's also exciting for me to be able to look out at a sea of faces here at the Asia Pacific Greens Federation members and recognise the diversity of us as a global Greens movement. One of the biggest challenges that we face in Australian politics is that our political representation does not reflect the diversity of our community. We have a significantly high or underrepresentation of people who come from migrant, multicultural and diverse backgrounds, and a complete failure to adequately have representation of First Nations people in our democracy to the level that is required. And so for me, as someone that was born in Australia, but to a father who migrated as an international student from Malaysia, with grandparents who were born and lived in mainland China, I personally feel such a sense of hope and solidarity and connection to be here with the Asia Pacific Greens Federation, and feel a sense of pride and connection and support from all of you to us continuing our work to really establish a global Greens network that doesn't just reflect the Western powers that have attempted to dominate our democracy, our United Nations, and our human rights framework, our foreign policy, and our international relations for well too long. It is wonderful to be able to offer, and I was asked to offer a couple of highlights, a couple of challenges, so I'll give you the highlights. I was just re-elected in the jurisdiction of Newtown. Thank you very much. I was just re-elected, and as far as I know, and I look forward to having chats with people over the course of the Congress, I think we managed to make history in New South Wales politics for the Australian Greens, definitely. I'm not sure how broad this historic win makes, but two things that we did. We've had our first ever lower house MP, Jamie Parker, who attended the Global Greens conference in Liverpool. He retired, and we managed to hold on to that seat and replace it with a new Greens member. And it's the first time in Australia we have had a single member electorate where we have managed to replace that seat with another Greens member and hand on that electoral success. The other thing we did that I'm very pleased of is that we managed to win the seat of Newtown, which I represent, on primary votes. So we won it with 54% of the primary vote, which is a significant achievement in terms of, at least in Australia, being able to win on primary votes. There's two other highlights I want to talk about. The first is that we have a record number of Australian Greens in our national parliament, and Janet Rice, Senator Janet Rice, who was due to speak to you, is sadly unable to speak at this session right here, but I wanted to pass on her apologies, and I think she'll be here in time to speak in the second part of the session. But Janet is one of now 15 representatives in our national parliament, including a breakthrough in many single-member electorates in the last federal election, and that is a huge success for the party. And one that I hold personally pleased is we have broken a new highlight and record in New South Wales politics. We have 7 elected representatives and the first all-female party room. All of us are women in the New South Wales Greens. But they are some moments of highlights. The challenges we face are enormous. The challenges we face to address global discrimination and racism are real. The challenges we face us around economic injustice and the rise and dominance of capitalism, prioritizing profits over people within our society, are so unacceptable. But also we face the intersecting challenges around climate justice and social justice. The fact that we know right now that the most extreme weather events, the most extreme damage as a result of climate action will have a disproportionate effect on those people who already suffer as a result of disadvantage and injustice in our communities. We see it in Sydney, where we know that the urban heat that impacts, where we see over 50-degree temperatures, hits those the hardest that cannot afford to pay the energy bills to put on their air conditioners or their fans. We see it globally with stories of floods and fires, but we also see the threats to our natural environment, to access to water, clean air, because of the failures of governments to stand up and act when it comes to addressing pollution, environmental destruction and devastation. I absolutely want to support the contribution by our Global Greens Ambassador, Christine Milne, when it says today that we are facing challenges of a global nature, and we will only address those if we can find ourselves in a situation where we are working on them as a global movement. The Greens are the only global political party in the world, and if there was ever a party that is in a position to be able to deliver on the kinds of massive, massive challenges we face as a world and as a generation for future generations, then I feel very confident that us as the Greens here in Korea and in all of our home countries will be able to tackle those challenges, provided we stay and recognise the strength and solidarity and power of working in a movement together. Thank you very much, and thank you again to our Korean hosts.
As before, select one thing that spoke to your head. Plant it there, 3 seconds, done. Select one item from that wonderful presentation that spoke to your heart. Plant it there, 3 seconds, done. You are an amazing audience. Thank you so much. I always try to keep my word. And so to the gentleman in the red shirt from Australia, I know that you don't have a key ring from Australia. Here is one coming to you. Thank you very much. Deliver that to the fine gentleman who answered the question of Port Moresby. Thank you, Jenny. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, you meet many people. I know you meet many people, but there are some people that stay around because they speak to your mind and to your spirit and to your heart. I have the wonderful pleasure of inviting our political Indigenous leader, Dominic Waine. Waikere? Malo. I have the pleasure of inviting him to this particular setting, right up here, sir. And he's bringing his mob because it is a good thing. Oh, that's me gesticulating to the rest of the mob. So we'll give them this moment, and that will close off this particular bracket. But thank you for being here to grace our particular gathering with your presence. Your space is now.
In Trish's language, Yama. Hello everyone. We began our Indigenous welcomes with acknowledgement to country and elders, and I'm glad to say that we've had the opportunity this morning to meet the senior executives of the Greens Party of Korea, the elders of the Greens Party of Korea in that sense, and amongst us we have many elders who are part of the Asia Pacific Greens Federation. We pay our respects to them and their country. These are our customs. We also like to make a spiritual connection with country because we travel with that. And that's always something that's kept in our heart when we leave our own countries, for we see Australia as basically its own federation of our First Nations mobs. We will talk about more to do with sovereignty and First Nations issues in other sessions, but those are the things that motivate us and drive us. So it is to the First Nations and Indigenous people of the Asia Pacific Greens Federation that I would like to spend a minute or two addressing. The world needs us more now than it ever did. More now. We carry that wisdom of having looked after country and the planet and the people on that country for thousands of years. We're very privileged to have people like Trish with us, who's a representative of the first structure made in the environment by which we fed ourselves. We carry that history with us when we travel. James Williams, who's our Deputy Chair of the Australian Greens Party, our Co-Secretary of the Australian Greens First Nations Network, Jesse, are here with me. We back each other up, we travel as a mob, and we try and riff off each other. Because we sometimes come unprepared with written speeches. But that's my message. That's what I would like people to take away, is to go back somewhere in your history to that time when you yourself were on country as a First Nation person, and the Greens values, the 4 pillars, justice, peace, eco-sustainability, grassroots democracy through consensus, was the value that led your people, your family, in your village. Go back far enough, we all have it. Indigenous people have a special connection with those values. And it is often those 4 pillars that bring Indigenous people, First Nations people, to join the Greens. Because there are a lot of barriers against that. We all know that. Within your own Greens parties and Greens networks, you know that. There's a lot of barriers for First Nations, Indigenous, tribal, nomad people, whatever name you call those people of the land, to join parties like this, a political party, to have a voice for those issues of day-to-day survival. But we carry that. We hope you will join with us in that. Our intention is to form a Global Greens, Indigenous, First Nations, tribal peoples, nomad network so that we can bring those voices into this political sphere, because now, more than ever, the world needs the wisdom and the voices of Indigenous people. Thank you.
James Williams. My country is Waka Waka from the northern part of Australia. And I was going to say similar things to what Dominic said, but that's the crux of it. The importance of it is the fact that we have such a strong connection to our country, and we base our society on those four pillars that make up the Greens. And it's very, very important that your Indigenous First Nations, as Dominic said, tribal, nomad people are brought to the fore. It's now more than ever that Indigenous knowledge of your country is actually brought into this sphere where we operate in politics. And that's probably just the one thing I wanted to stress, how important that is. That historically, most of the world hasn't listened to this is particularly relevant in Australia, where I work in an emergency environment that talks about cultural burning. The traditional owners of our country, we suffer from huge wildfires in Australia. Now they're starting to turn more towards the traditional knowledge of fighting fires that has lived with our people for 60,000 years. Our country was well managed by our people, and it was such a beautiful, thriving country for that reason before they came 200 years ago. That's one perfect example of the Indigenous knowledge that we have, that we're bringing to our country. And I'd like you all to think about the traditional knowledge of your Indigenous people too, because it's very, very, they're very, very smart. They know how to manage country like we do. So that's all I'll say for now. We'll talk more later. Bye.
Thank you, James. You will hear more from our youth representatives, Jody, Sophia and Jesse at other sessions. So thank you very much, Asia Pacific Greens Federation.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, to our brothers and sisters from the First Nations Australia, may I hear a vote of mahalo? Mahalo. And so saying, the Pacific is well known for singing. You now will be singing. We will hum and you will follow. So our wonderful choreographer will start us off. When he has hummed, it is your turn. I want to hear you humming. So let's have a test trial. Hum for me. Oh my gosh, you sound wonderful. I won't ask for a repeat of that. That was absolutely perfect. Sir, over to you.
So I'll sing the line, and you can sing along after me, or just choose to hum along after. So it's line, and then it repeats. E toru ngā mea.
E toru ngā mea.
Ngā mea nunui.
Ngā mea nunui.
E ki ana.
E ki ana.
Te pai pera.
Te pai pera.
Haka pono.
Haka pono.
Te manako.
Tu manako.
Ko te me nui.
Ko te mea nui.
Ko te aroha.
Ko te aroha. Thank you. Here's the humming. Please give yourselves a hand. And in the words of our sign language, 2 hands up, fingers moving, That is your other thank you, and mahalo to my co-presenter, Ropata Moore from Aotearoa, New Zealand. This then ends my little bracket, because you are needing a break and you deserve it. In your minds, you have about 3 things that you plucked out of the wisdom of the speakers. Raise your hand if you've got 4. In your hearts, right here, there were 3 things you were charged with plucking from the sage wisdom of the speakers. Raise your hand if you've got 5. That's what it's all about, because there's so much intel, so much information. You select the bits that are going to be useful for you. I'm going to ask you about it during break. Ladies and gentlemen, good movers and shakers, greens of every shade from light to dark. No, professor like that one. Thank you once, thank you twice, thank you 3 times, and here is Ropata and I bowing out so you can have morning tea.
Thank you.
You have 10 minutes of a break, and then come back in, and we're going to have another quiz and give out some more spot prizes. Yes! 3. She taught me this one. What do you want? And she answers, justice. And of course she says, when do you want it? And I say, now. Okay, got your answers? What do you want? Okay, you're supposed to say justice back to me. Ready, go. What do you want? Justice. Not Jakarta, justice. Here we go. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want? Justice. When do you want it? Now. That brings us to our next section of interaction. Thank you. By now you have found your quiet, you have found your peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite the next of our guest facilitators, mediators, to take the floor and take us through the next interlude of great intel exchange information. So may I invite, is Russian here? Russian? May I invite our Ropata Moore to be in accompaniment of our main instigator. So please, Ropata, if you could accept this, our humble offering. It is indeed an honor for a Nepali to present you with a scarf. It is symbolic in their culture, and we will ask Tika to explain the substance of that. So if you wouldn't mind accepting this on our behalf, thank you.
Namaskar again. This is the handmade scarf. Little bit of Kashmiri wool and pashmina mixed. So handmade one from
And a lei that I made for him this morning because I was up at 5 a.m. It is from the Pacific. So please accept these, our humble offerings, and thank you for being with us. We honor you. And also, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite our co-moderator, colleague and leader, Michelle Shaver, and also known as Al, to stand right here on my left-hand side. Thank you, ma'am. And so saying, please accept this, our humble offering, all the way from the Pacific. If you wouldn't mind wearing it and gracing us with your presence while you wear such an honoured gift. This is only given to people who are big deals. So big cheese for the day, you are to us. Any one of you who is Joseph? Thank you very much, Joseph. If you wouldn't mind. So it's very next. I would also like to, sorry if I take a moment, I'd also like to announce that we have a camera person in the room who is an assistant to our Suresh, who is our local resident word artist, who will also be doing our writing for us. So if you see Frida taking photos, please allow her to take photos, and we will publish them, with your permission, on Hoover and elsewhere. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Peppy. I'm going to switch over to the other mic so we can have the people on Zoom listen to us. So all the speakers coming up will be asking you to enter this way. So greetings everybody, and it's always a breath when you think everyone made it into the room. So welcome everyone. Just a short acknowledgement to people that couldn't be here. Sometimes it's because they couldn't get the financial resources. Sometimes some of our colleagues had their visas refused, and sometimes it's because of the political situation as Greens were struggling in our country. So just a moment to acknowledge the people that couldn't be with us as well. Okay, so Huan Yang, and thank you again to our gracious hosts from Korea. I know it's been an enormous effort to get us here. And special thanks to the International Committee, Professor Choo-Seung Lee, and of course Soo-hee Lee, who is also our Asia Pacific Greens Women's Network convener in her spare time. Okay, so the second part of the program, we're going to hear from our colleagues from different regions from all around the world. And we have about 5 minutes each. But before we do that, we just wanted to acknowledge the APGF networks that work very, very hard for all of us, for every party that we have. I'm from the Australian Greens. My name is Michelle Shida. I know in Papua New Guinea they call me Mishi, and a lot of people here call me Elle, but it's really nice to see you all. Today we're going to start with the Women's Network, the APGF-WN. It's one of the most active, if not the most active women's network in the world. They do amazing work for 6 years now. We have 4 generations of mentors of women mentoring, so women that were mentored to become the mentor later on. Rishana being one of them. And also we have some really cutting-edge gender equity trainings that no other Green Party in the world has done. So we've really initiated that and been able to conduct those in many countries around the world. So I'd like to invite Anita Natalia, who is the Asia Pacific Greens Women's Network representative to the Global Greens Network for us, to give an overview of the Women's Network. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Michelle, and I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate Green Party Korea for organizing such a wonderful Global Greens Congress and Asia Pacific Green Federation Congress. And I would like to present you about the Women's Network. I'll take through the slides, and it will be a very fast, 2 seconds or 3 seconds each slide. Meanwhile, Rachna is figuring out the presentation on the shared drive, because we are not allowed to use our laptop. So just a technical help. So here's our team, co-conveners.
The microphone.
Co-convener Soo-hee Lee and Alpio Singh, and co-treasurer Madhubanti and Piram, and we have Sarita and Shireen as co-secretaries. Yeah, okay. So I'll take quickly through the slides, and the Women's Network is also representing in different committees, and who are. So you can see we are a group of women from different parties, and if your party women is not here, please contact us, Alpu and Suri. And the objective is to develop leadership in women and to participate in political activities. And we are getting support, funds from Australian Greens International Committee, and so that we can, fulfill our objective. And so we have started mentoring program in 2017, and we have currently 15 pairs going on, and 15 have completed their program, and 5 more mentees to come in October. And we have mentees who have turned mentors. Wow. And we have mentors from New Zealand. We need more mentors from New Zealand. And they've promised me to give more mentors. And here are mentors from Australia, and some of them are here also. And then mentors from other countries like South Korea, Lebanon, France, Belgium, Taiwan. And mentors, we have mentors from Sweden also. So we are lucky enough. Yeah. The mentoring program has alumni gathering, which is like, gathering all the mentees together, and they share their experiences with each other. And then we have from mentors also, the mentors share their experience, and we are growing day by day. Then we have mini skill course for mentees, and it is uploaded on the APGF YouTube channel. I would suggest everybody to please subscribe the Asia Pacific Green Federation YouTube channel. And we need more subscribers. Yeah, and you can find the APGFW webinar series. So it's almost 24 webinars. And this is something, it looks like this if you click on the webinar and the webinar series. Yeah. And then we also started, Asia Pacific Green Federation also started gender equity training. Yes, you can see Rachna there. And she is roaming around. She's helping you out. Okay. And the aim for gender equity training is to get 50% of party membership and 50% of women in the executive. So yes, we are trying hard, and definitely will reach that. The first training was organized in India. So it was in 2019, and then it was again in 2020. Then again in India it was 2021 for a state level, and again another state in September. Then we had gender equity training in Nepal, and then there was gender equity training in Pakistan as well. Yes, and then Bangladesh, it was support to build women's network. And we had specific Southeast Asia Pacific gender equity training that was on 10th and 11th last year, December 2022. And in Nepali Greens again organized one more training. I need a new picture, Rachna, maybe later, March 2023. And then we also trained trainers for gender equity training. And this is the first one, March 2020. And then on 14th and 15th May. And we have a lot of, resources on the website. I would suggest everybody to click on the online gender equity toolkit, which is available on Asia Pacific Green Federation website. Now, what is the toolkit? It is about policies and the policy framework, gender equity roadmap, and then 3-year review. You can watch this 3-year review gender equity roadmap. It is on the YouTube channel. Suhi and Q presented the session. then I'll leave it to the co-conveners for future plans and maybe the APGF secretary, Journal Secretary, sorry, to discuss. Like they'll be discussing when they meet together in 2023 to 2028 future plans. And if you want to keep in contact with us, you have the emails. Thank you very much.
Hope it's 2 or 3 minutes.
Namaste. And thank you to Anita and a lot of the women that put a lot of time into the Women's Network to bring gender equity to many parties that are really struggling and many countries where are really struggling with those issues. So thank you very much for all your work. And a great statistic is, when we were in Liverpool, around 20% of our council was made of women. And I think today it's about 60%. So that's really a great statistic. So well done everyone there. So the next network is the Asia Pacific Young Greens, but we have a quick quiz question before that. Okay, which is the oldest Green Party in the Pacific, do you think? Which is the oldest, the first one? Tasmania is sort of the Pacific. It's the oldest in the world, so we should give something to that. Yes, the oldest in the world, thank you. You're one step ahead of us, well done. Okay, so Tasmania, the oldest Green Party in the entire world, which is something to be really proud of from an APGF regional perspective too.
Who answered the question?
So Papua New Guinea is the oldest Green Party in the Pacific as well. So, yeah. We're going to hear a little bit more about PNG a little bit later, so Andrew, the General Secretary, will explain that to us. Which is the oldest Green Party in Asia, do we think?
Mongolia.
Mongolia, yes. Jung, which year did you start?
1990.
1990, amazing. And Andrew, Papua New Guinea was?
2001.
2001. So there you go. So probably we have Mongolia, the oldest other Green Party outside Tasmania. Okay, so the other region, of course, is our Middle East colleagues. Which is the oldest party in the Middle East?
Lebanon.
Green Party of Lebanon. What year did you form, Shirin?
2006.
2006. Fantastic. So some great history within the room that we have amongst ourselves already. Okay, so now we're going to welcome up the Asia Pacific Young Greens Network, which is a network from all your parties and representatives from all your parties. If your party doesn't have a Young Greens delegate, it would be really nice at this Congress if we can secure that. So we have a lot of speakers coming up. So I think we have Haman from UKPP, we have Minami from Japan Greens, we have Frida Pos from PNG Greens, and Joseph from Fiji Greens.
Wow.
Oh, and Ashish from India Greens as well, please, Ashish. There you are, excellent. So you have to speak into this for the Zoom.
Hello everyone. So nice to meet you all. And I am Hema Kanpal from India. I am Asia Pacific Young Green Network Co-Secretary, and it's so nice, so excited feeling like meeting all green from around the world. And I just want to say that my life is all about environment and youth. So I'm asking for support from all of you for our network to grow and to strengthen our network so that the young people can do wonders in upcoming future. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Minami from Greens Japan, and I'm a delegate for the Young Greens Japan. Japan is struggling a little bit with youth participation, but I'm very hopeful right now. We're getting very active
we're finding so many brilliant young activists in Japan, and they've also attending in this Congress with us. And I truly believe as long as we're supporting each other, collaborating and sharing all of the things that we're passionate about, we can truly make a difference. And I'm very, very excited for Japan's green movement with the youth and with so much inclusion and diversity. And I'm so happy to meet everybody here, and please support us. Please share with me all your successes and also your failures so we can truly strive as the Greens. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm young enough, but technically I still qualify to be part of Young. Okay, so green greetings. I'm Ashish Thakuri. I'm part of India Greens. Currently, I'm not part of the APYGN or Young Greens network for that matter, but in the past I've served as the co-convener for India Young Greens network, while also having served in the APYGN. First things first, thank you to all the organizers and APGF for having us here and putting all the efforts with the logistics and the arrangement. I personally think that in the near future, when climate change is going to be the only relevant topic, we have a community here that kind of grooms our young leaders to prepare them for what's going to brace us in the near future. So I think it's a very unique thing that we are doing, and kudos to all of us. Keep backing us and keep giving us support, like my peers said. Share with us your success, your learning, so that we can implement them and make this world a better place to live in. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Frida from Papua New Guinea. I am one of the interns for the Pacific region. In PNT we have number of, not many youth, but when I was given the privilege to come attend the Congress, most of the youths were asking, and they were very interested to come and to participate. And when I go back, I hope and I will make awareness and invite as many as I want and as many youths to join. And I would very much appreciate all of your support, and as my friend said, what we can step on to move forward. And thank you so much for my sponsors as well, and thank you everyone.
Okay, I'll teach you guys how to say hello in Fiji. So we say bula. Bula. Can I hear you again? Bula. Not loud enough. Bula. Thank you. So I'm Joseph, I'm from Fiji Islands. So I'm here and I'll be talking on climate migration and displacement, climate change. So I'll see you guys in the forum. And then to say thank you in Fijian, or in Fiji we say Vinaka. Vinaka. Thank you.
It is quiz time.
Get ready.
And your question is, which is the only Green Party in the Asia Pacific Green Federation that is currently in national government?
New Zealand.
It's New Zealand, I think we all know.
Do you want to get
So we have, they're actually in government in Aotearoa, so I think that is a round of applause, don't you think? In Australia we have the balance of power in our national parliament, but we're not in government. But the other party in the region that has a member of parliament is the Papua New Guinea Greens. And Andrew Kudape from the Papua New Guinea Greens, as the General Secretary, is going to read some of his statement from their sitting member who couldn't be with us today, Richard Mazzari, because Parliament's sitting and there's a few key issues that he has to address. But Andrew, do you want to come and just say a few words? Thank you.
Bama
Uta. In PNG, we it's like Pidgin is more like English. So Motu is our third largest language, and it's spoken widely in Mosby and Port Moresby area. And Bama Uta means good morning. So Bama Uta, everyone. Okay, thank you. Briefly, in the Pacific, I think we have 3 countries represented here this morning. Solomon Islands got registered in 2014, and they still fighting to get an MP into Parliament. And they are going into election next year. Fiji is struggling to get it registered, and we hope to get it registered maybe before the end of the year, who knows. PNG Greens Party, fortunately we have 1 MP in Parliament now, Richard Masere, and he is the chairman for Public Accounts Committee in the National Parliament. Because of pressing work commitment, he can't be here. He's in fact traveling to Australia and New Zealand straight after the Parliament session this week. So he asked me to give a speech, but I think I will dispute it out. It's a little bit long speech, so I'll make it short. I'll just say good morning on behalf of my party leader and my members who are 1,200 membership in the party, in PNG Greens Party. I have a woman wing, I have a youth wing, both are active actually. Predates my woman wing co-coordinator, and Emil unfortunately is not here because he's taken somebody to Philippines hospital. Somebody was sick, so a relative there. But thank you very much. Every Greens party who's represented here from the Asia Pacific region, I'm pleased to be with all of you, and we look forward to achieve some of our goals at this convention. Thank you.
Okay, another quick quiz, and you can't answer this if you come from Indonesia. How many Green parties do we have in Indonesia? Ashish? And do you know what they're called?
I think, apologies, but one of them is Union.
Green Union Indonesia,
Party.
yeah. Party Haja Indonesia, and Sarekat Haja, Green Union Indonesia, they're the 2 national, and then we have the Aceh Greens, which is an autonomous area on the north of Sumatra as well, so we have 3. So who, I think that was Ashish got that. Yeah. We've spent a couple of days together, most of our Asia Pacific Greens delegates, having we call it a study tour. It's an exchange between all the different parties. We also had a few webinars in the build up to this, so thank you to everyone that contributed to the webinars and to being guest speakers, such as Christine Milne and Stuart Jackson. Thank you very much. Marine Faruqi from the Australian Greens and all of the Asia Pacific Greens too. So now we're doing our sub-regional reports. And the first report is from the Middle East region, and the parties there are the Green Party of Lebanon, the Palestinian Greens, the Green Party of Iraq, and the Jordanian Nature Party. And Shirin Jodi, from the oldest Green Party in the Middle East, is going to come and give the report.
Can my colleague join me? From Iraq, from Algeria, from Morocco. صباح الخير.
السلام عليكم.
So صباح الخير is good morning in Arabic. Can I hear صباح الخير? It's a great privilege and an honor to be here standing in this beautiful Congress for the Global Greens. I want to thank everyone who made this Congress possible. I want to thank the Asia Pacific federations. I want to thank all the people who worked hard to the realization of this Congress. And I want to thank, in particular, the Green Party in Korea. When we have, we walk the talk, and let me say, for me as a person, I'm also part of the mentoring program that Anita was mentioning, and my mentor is here, Bodir Valero. Thank you. Your presence and your great efforts in the mentorship program. In the Middle East and Arab states, we have Green parties in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Jordan, in Iraq, in Morocco, and in Tunisia. And the quiz here goes. What is the upcoming Green Party in that area? Can you guess? A new party? No. Another Green Party. So Libya will be our upcoming Green Party in our part of the world. As you most probably know, in our region we have lots of conflicts. We have, it's not only a prone conflict, but also the area is full of conflicts. The conflict that we have in that area has been for a long time that have drained the whole system. The states are also in a state of demise, either in terms of institutions or in terms of setups or in terms of sovereignty. So this gives the Green Party a position where we play a transformative role in the lives of the people. We try to play a role where we can put forward issues that lie at the heart of human security, and this is the 7 pillars of security. The political governance in the Middle East and Arab states is also volatile, which brings us also to say that the political dynamics in the region are also volatile, and as such also the work and the priority that we do is also changing. But one of the most pressing things that we are facing recently, and which our colleagues in Iraq are facing, and which we need and we will ask for the support in this Congress, is the water issue. Iraq is passing through periods of drought, is passing through a period where desertification is in the process, and this is where we need to act now or never. So this is a code that we will be having during this Congress. The water issue is on the top list of the Green parties in the Middle East and Arab world because of the scarcity and because of the dams that are being set around us. And this is the work that nearly most of the Arab Green parties are working on. Another thing is the issue of refugees and the humanitarian crisis that are the result of the wars that are in the region. Refugees, let me just remind you, when we say refugees, we mean armament. We mean the arms that is being sent to the Middle East and Arab countries. And once we receive arms, it means we receive blood. And once we receive arms, it means more blood is being shed in the region, and it means there's an increase in refugees. So people do not leave their homes because they want to leave their homes. They leave their homes because of war. And this is also another call for us to say, stop sending weapons to area of conflict. Another thing that also is at the heart of the conflict and that is sustaining the conflict in the Middle East and the Arab region is the issue of occupation, which is a serious issue in Palestine and in other areas, and also the Arab countries, which we need to raise. We need to raise issues of also the pillars of the Green Party, which lies at the heart of social justice, economy, and the issue of environmental well-being. Our work also focuses on the advancement of women. Just to give you an example, the Green Party of Lebanon was the first party in the Middle East to have women heading it. So we had a woman president, Nada Zarour, who is also part of the G100, which we will see like the presentation tomorrow at 8:45. Please try to be there. So we have a president in Lebanon. This is also to say that we put gender advancement and gender equity at the heart of the political party in Lebanon. And in other places in the Arab world, gradual advancement is being set. The political ideology of the Green Party is almost to the left, calling for social justice, social economy, equality among different divides, and as such. Let me just acknowledge the presence of the Secretary General of the Iraq Party, Mr. Saleh, and also the President of the Kurdistan Party, Mr. Hendarin. Last but not least, we have 3 days to discuss whatever you want. Please reach out to us to know more about the Middle East and Arab states in the World Cafe. We will be there from 11 till maybe 2. And I will be also a speaker in the dialogue and cooperation. Please also try to come to see more about the conflict in the area. And I want to thank you all on the behalf of all the Green parties and on behalf of the people who call for justice and equality in the region, who are many, and who depend on us on the work we do so that we can advance it. Thank you.
Our next report will be from the Pacific. So this is from Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and Fiji.
Mamauta, once again. This time, I'll have the opportunity to read out the speech prepared by my party leader, so at least I don't miss that. And instead of giving it to you, I'll read it out. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to distinguished delegates in Global Greens Congress. Good afternoon, true, which means good afternoon in Tok Pidgin. Today, I stand before you to address the pressing issue of climate change and its profound impacts on Papua New Guinea over the past 5 years. PNG, located in the heart of the Pacific, is experiencing a wide range of climate change effects that demand our immediate attention. In this speech, I will present you with facts, figures, and real-life examples to illustrate the gravity of the situation in PNG. Furthermore, I will outline the potential impacts that PNG and other smaller Pacific Island countries may face in the next 5 years, as well as the actions that developed nations must take to reduce climate change impacts in the Pacific region. Over the last 5 years, Papua New Guinea has witnessed a series of alarming climate change impacts. Let us examine some of the facts, figures, and examples to better understand the magnitude of these impacts. Sea level rise. 1. The Pacific Islands are particularly vulnerable to sea level rise, and PNG is no exception. Over the past 5 years, PNG has experienced a sea level rise of approximately 6 millimeters per year, exceeding the global average of around 3.2 millimeters per year. This rapid rise poses a grave threat to lower-lying coastal communities, infrastructure, freshwater sources. For example, the Carteret Islands, part of PNG, have experienced severe coastal erosion, resulting in the displacement of its inhabitants who have had to seek refuge on nearby islands. Number 2, extreme weather events. PNG is also susceptible in the increasing frequency and intensity to extreme weather events. In the past 5 years, PNG has faced devastating cyclones and storms, causing loss of life, displacement, and extensive damage to homes, crops, infrastructure. For instance, Tropical Cyclone Oma in 2018 and Cyclone Gita in 2018 severely impacted PNG and small Pacific Island nations, leading sorry, can I take this out? That's better, thank you. Where did I stop? Okay, Cyclone Gita in 2018 severely impacted PNG and the Pacific nations, leading to significant destruction and disruption of livelihoods. Coral bleaching. The vibrant coral reefs of PNG and other Pacific nations renewed for their biodiversity are under threat due to rising sea temperatures. In the past 5 years, PNG and the Pacific nations has witnessed significant coral bleaching events, resulting in the loss of vibrant reefs and endangering the associated marine biodiversity. This loss not only impacts the beauty of the marine environment, but also affects the livelihood of coastal communities dependent on the ecosystem for sustenance and income. Next one, food security. Climate change poses a substantial threat to food security in PNG and the Pacific nations. Rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and increasing salinity levels in the freshwater sources have resulted in reduced crop yields, impacting agricultural practices and exacerbating food scarcity and malnutrition. Subsistence farming, communities which heavily rely on traditional farming methods are particularly vulnerable to these climate change impacts.
Just to give them a break. Health impacts. The changing climate also has severe health implications for the people of Papua New Guinea. Rising temperatures contribute to the proliferation of vector-borne diseases such as dengue fever and malaria. Additionally, extreme heat events and inadequate access to clean water and sanitation facilities further compound health challenges in these regions. The impacts of climate change on health are exemplified by the increased incidence of dengue fever outbreaks in PNG. I wonder if you knew that. Looking ahead to the next 5 years, PNG and other smaller Pacific Island countries face an even more precarious future if immediate actions are not taken. The following potential impacts are forecasted. 1. Displacement. 2. Loss of biodiversity. 3. Water scarcity. 4. Security challenges. 5. Emissions reduction.
Blast the camera.
6. If I've done emissions reduction? Yes. Good. We're up to 7. Financial support. Have I done financial support? Let me do it again. Financial support. Ladies and gentlemen, the critical one, technology. Technology transfer. The next one that we all hold at heart, capacity building. And the one that we are here for, to dwell on, to focus on, international cooperation. Do I hear a yes indeed? Yes. Do I hear a mahalo? Mahalo. Have we done the Honourable Sir Richard Marcette justice, do you think?
Yes.
Would he be pleased with how we have shortened it?
Yes, he will be.
Made it brief. But you know what? We're going to make it available to you via Hoover. Is that okay with the Honourable Minister? Yes. Could you please communicate to him the love and support of the Pacific family, the love and support of our extended family, and thank him for putting into words what we thought we wanted to say today.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We can resume our seats now. Take a bow.
Interesting slideshow behind us. Okay, our next region that we're going to hear from is Southeast Asia, and we have the Green Party of the Philippines is in there, but I don't think they could be with us today. And we have Sarekat Hajar Indonesia, we have Party Hajar Indonesia, and Party Hajar Aceh.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. So, my name is Rika. I'm from Partai Hijau Indonesia, or Indonesia Green Party. This is my colleagues. He will introduce himself. So, I'll give my turn first. So, first, I want to say that I'm here to represent Indonesian Green Party, and on behalf of our party, I would like to say that we are very grateful and proud to be here. So I would like to call my colleagues to stand up in the back. So first, Johnson Chandra, thank you, and Ahmad Geri, thank you very much, and our National Presidium, John Muhammad, thank you very much. I will give a bit speech. So just for information, so we just celebrate our 11 years and on the 5th June. We aware that we still far away from our goal, but we not losing our spirit yet. It's far away, but and we keep work toward our goals, deal with environment problem, for example, mining and other nature exploitation that has been done without consideration of sustainability. We want to have a goal, this is including, one of the problems is including the criminalize the activists, the people who protect our livelihood and our environment. So in our work, we invite young people in our party not to be a volunteer to work on the pool or to replay email or posting content, but involve them in our discussion and debate and to make decision in our party. So I would like to call the young delegation, Salwa Nadira, please stand up, and then Wahyu Aji. Thank you. And so with all this work, what we want to do is we hope that we can make our path clearly for Indonesia and also our world to be to unjust, clean, and sustain. or what we call it Bersih Adil Lestari, is our grade. Then our hope to come to this Congress is to meet, talk, make a friendship with you, and listen and share experience, and to get support and give support to you to save our Earth. Thank you very much for your attention and for your work to make this wonderful Congress happen.
Thank you very much. I am Fahmi. I am from the Aceh, this one province of Indonesia. And I am very happy to meet you, all of you, in this Congress. And this moment is very uplifting, the spirit of the Green for me and for us together. We will move the building, build the green idea in Aceh, and ensure the green movement will live in Aceh and everywhere. In Aceh, we have one province that have like special regulation that make us conduct building local party. And one certainly how to make ideas of green is live every time in Aceh is we and with our friend in Aceh is build one party that named Aceh Green Party. And thank you very much. And we are not running out how to make sure the ideas of green, our local party, Aceh Green Party, is always alive in Aceh. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Rizal Fauzi from Indonesian Green Union. We are from Indonesian Green Union, educate youth about the green movement and collaborate with various communities and stakeholders. We are present in 9 provinces in Indonesia with an activity carry out various activities. Also include the economic independence of the community base of environment, conduct research and publicate. We want to head over the growth from our indigenous people, Bugis South Sulawesi, which has been entrusted to us to be confined to APGF and Global Green. This growth symbolize willingness to collaborate and seek assistance from APGF and Global Green in Indonesian Green Movement. Our aim is to release ecological justice and gender equality. Better future for our long life APGF, long life Global Green, long life Indonesia, bersatu, bersarikat, berlawan. For Mr. Tika Bandari, please come. Thank you.
And next up, and ready to come up, we have East Asia. So we have South Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Taiwan, and I think we've got Dalgan speaking.
Hello everybody, thank you for the opportunity. Please, incredible Olympics. It's just like Olympics. I love it. In Mongolian we say, Sambano. How do you do? So, just said Mongolian Green Party is 1919. included grounded, and we had one MP in 2004 and 2008. I have an urgent matter to ask Global Greens and APGF that we have now almost 3,000 Mongolian ethnic people from Russia who are going outside of military service of Russia not to get into war within Ukraine. So almost 30,000 people are gone to the third countries through Mongolia, and we have now 3,000 left. The urgent matter is that the Russian government pushing these people are deported back to Russia. So I'm asking help of your to help them for visa or other things. As the report in Mongolia, we have a desert, Gobi Desert. It's a big desert growing yearly, and the global warming is helping make it very fast. All the sandstorms go to China and Korea, even to Japan, I think. We have some global issue. So I think I give the microphone to people who are saying hello. Maybe we have Fukushima movies on Saturday. Tonight, 6:30 on
room 110.
110. So it's also a global issue. Please visit us and watch the movie. We're concerned, is it safe to eat our lovely sushi? Yes. And there's a concern also, I think you met somebody who are concerning that European war could be transferred to in Asia, in East Asia, between maybe China and Taiwan. And that is also a global issue. We should talk about that, I think. So next, people are going to say hello in their own language.
Thank you. I'm Keiko Ogata of Greens Japan. Since we... Oh! Can I carry myself? Well, since the world is anxious, in addition to the climate change, the world anxiety around the world is increasing in Ukraine and Russia. And our region, East Asia, has our own anxiety too. So, but that's why we need to unite and we need to connect ourselves strongly. And I think actually we are doing. For example, in 2019, in Hong Kong, they had a revolt, well, they call it a democratic revolution, demonstration in Hong Kong. Taiwan and Korea and Japan, we made a joint statement to support the Hong Kong protest against China. So in that way, we are doing the cooperation in our East Asia. We, Greens Japan, we are very small as the size of the party, but we have 50 city councillors among our official members and supporters. One of them is Akiko Kando. She won the seat in Tokyo Metropolitan Parliament, while she won the single seat electorate. With cooperation with other democratic and progressive parties. Yes. So this spring we had the local council elections too. We won many. We won 2 new young lady councillors among others. So we Greens Japan are progressing, and we expect more people coming to our party, especially young, energetic activists. Thank you.
Do you want to just come and say hello? Because unfortunately it's super late. Just to come and say hello.
Hello, I'm Yo-Sing from Taiwan. Small quiz. Do you know APGF 2010 take place in which country?
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Yeah! I want to welcome all you all to here. And may I ask who from Taiwan? Yeah, okay. People from Taiwan. People from Taiwan, please come. Just think. Yeah, please. 3 seconds, 3 seconds.
Just arrived. We're sorry.
3 seconds, okay. Okay, well, welcome you to come to Taiwan again. Very good.
Okay, can I stand here?
Wow, very good, very good.
Hello everyone, I'm Zoe from Green Party Taiwan. I'm the co-convener of Green Party Taiwan. And unfortunately we have our city councilor, but he cannot come because he has to work while representing our citizens. And we will have a panel, like tomorrow's very last one, talking about crisis between Taiwan and China. So if you guys are interested, please join us. And we have a very special we're advocating on medical cannabis as well. So hopefully we'll be the second country in Asia.
In Cantonese, we give greetings to a big group of people, wishing everybody well. 大家好. Right. We never have a green party in Hong Kong, but we have people and organizations who share green values. So I'm here as a Hong Konger, and I'm also helping with to facilitate a green AI session tomorrow. So you are most welcome to join in. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is Korea. Welcome to Korea. I'm a Green Party Korea co-vice chair. Q. I say Ho, you say Q. Q. Welcome to Korea. Green politics is missing in Korean politics. Green politics is missing in Asian politics. Green politics is missing in global politics. So, but Green Party Korea has no parliament member. So, now the Green Party Korea must create a political victory. Let's make a victory. Green politics is the hope. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much to all of the parties from East Asia, which is our host sub-region, really. Okay, the next region that we will hear a report from is South Asia, which are the Green parties of Nepal, the India Greens, the UKPP Uttarakhand Party, Pakistan Green Party, and the Bangladesh Green Party. And this will be presented by Snigdha from Tawari and Liaquat Ali from the Green Party of Pakistan, with help from others.
Thank you very much, and I will request all my fellow South Asian Greens to come on stage. We do have a senior leadership with us from Green Party, UKPP from Tewari South. We have Suresh from the India Green Party. We definitely have from Pakistan, my co-chairperson,
We have Nepal, Tikabandari. So yeah, we most of the senior, and I need the 60 minutes to speak. So keep in mind. So because I'm going to talk on behalf of 2 billion population which is live in South Asia. It is 20% of world population. So for the talking on behalf of 20% of world population, I definitely need 60 minutes. So no, it is just joking. You are not going to miss your lunch. Because of time, I just want to focus on a couple of issues we have jointly facing in South Asia. We speak similar language. Our faces looks like similar, and then we also have some issues. So rather than talking one by one, I will focus on key 2 issues that are really important for us as a group of the South Asian. One is we definitely, as one of the biggest group in the world affected by the climate change, we share not only the language, but we are also connected by Himalaya. Because Himalaya started from Nepal across India and Pakistan, so there's a huge connection between our nations, and it's melting. And because of the climate change, there's a lot of things happening. We, as small green parties, trying to protect our glaciers, trying to protect our water, we trying to protect our reservoirs, and we also trying to protect our identity, because all those uprising of nationalist right-wing parties is actually affecting or trying to damage their basic civil rights, and also prohibiting us to demonstrate our right and protest. And it happened a lot of times, particularly in India. The PC Tabari was being arrested, like other our activists. And there's a lot of litigation going on. So we need all of your the moral support to carry forward our struggle, because this is one of the critical time for us in South Asia. We recently have a lot of floods in Pakistan. We have an issue in Bangladesh. We have in India. If we cannot survive, world cannot survive. So that's the message for us to you, and this is the biggest issue for us. And I again emphasize that a lot of arrests have been happening by the right-wing governments, and we need your help, and also we need encouragement from us, from you, to continue our struggle. And another thing I was just want to thank you, my team, as considered the right-wing uprising globally, but also in that big region. We have a lot of issue with the human rights violation. We have an issue with basic rights, and there is a conflict ongoing between 2 big nations, Pakistan and India, on the Kashmir, which is an unresolved issue. 2 nuclear power, and definitely we're looking for the nuclear disarmament on big nations, and we need to resolve the issue bilaterally, or we need the help. So I think as a Green Party, we agree that South Asia has to be a peaceful region, and we will struggle together to make it happen. So thank you very much, and the rest of my 15 minutes, I'm going to talk in the next session. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, thank you so much. I think Liaquat gave you a whole picture of what is happening in our whole region. What we are hearing from all others in the green, that at Papua New Guinea or other places we are seeing, there is a rise at sea level. All of these countries which are standing before you, we have the glaciers, and we are fighting to save the glaciers. If we can protect the glaciers, we can protect the sea level rise. And our governments are so bad. We as Greens, we do not go to the narratives of the government which they set for us. For example, in Pakistan, we saw the arrest of the earlier former Prime Minister. For example, in Nepal, we are seeing how the government is functioning in Nepal. We are seeing in India, the rise of the government in India, which is so nationalist prone, so jingoist, and totally against climate. And we are all facing the brunt of climate change. We are saying it because we face the landslides while going from one place to another place. Our people die, we face the biodiversity loss, and our rivers are not being able to flow freely. We are the home of perennial rivers, and if you protect glaciers, you help us, we protect the rivers for all of us. So this is all of us together, we stand in solidarity with each other. We are strong as one party, for our whole region. And we request APGF to also put emphasis, proper representation for our region as a whole. So this is our message to APGF, and we all stand together. Thank you so much.
So we're going to continue our 60 minutes. So just another 1 minute, I need more. We say like Inqilab Zindabad, Inqilab Zindabad, Inqilab Zindabad. So I have a quick announcement. In the in the year before, we have wonderful gender training in Pakistan, but because of COVID, it's mostly virtual. And one of the two participants, trainers, will participate and train our women network. We have a souvenir for them, and we give them virtually. Now we come with physical one. So I will call upon the Misho to receive her certificate of appreciation from Imran Baklova. One for our wonderful trainer Sui from South Korea. So that's the wonderful ladies who really helped my team in Women Network. So thanks to all of you, and thank you Nepal delegation, thank you India, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Name of mine.
Take a copy on it. Kia ora anō, we have 2 parties left to go. So next up, I invite the Green Party of Aotearoa, New Zealand. And so I invite my friend and colleague Emily Sutton, who's the councillor, to come and speak on behalf of the Green Party of Aotearoa.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora he mihi kia koutou, ki ngā mana whenua, me ngā haimahi for Emily Aho. Greetings to you all, greetings to the people of this land, and greetings to the organisers. My name is Emily and I'm the Aotearoa New Zealand Councillor to the Asia Pacific Green Federation, but I live in England in the United Kingdom. I'm here with my Green colleague Ropata Moore, who has been timekeeping and facilitating this session. I'm going to share some information about the Green Party of Aotearoa New Zealand. So we currently have 9 members of Parliament out of a Parliament of around 120. And our parliamentary co-leaders, the Honourable Marama Davidson and the Honourable James Shaw, are the Ministers for Homelessness and Minister for the Prevention of Family and Sexual Violence, and the Minister for Climate Change and Associate Minister for the Environment, Biodiversity. They are both ministers outside of Cabinet. We are alongside the Labour government in our country now for the 2nd term. And during our time in government, we have led climate action and set Aotearoa on course for net zero carbon. We've created thousands of new nature-based jobs in the COVID-19 response. We have championed electoral reform, which has strengthened democratic protections in law, including increasing transparency around donations. And we've ended new offshore oil and gas exploration to protect our planet. We currently have 27 Greens elected to local government across New Zealand, with several more party members also elected, but not having done so as Green Party branded candidates. In 2022, we implemented a new consultation that both streamlines our internal governance structures and decision making, which enshrine and give greater inclusive and recognition to our commitment to Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi, which is the foundational document of partnership between Māori as the people of the lands of New Zealand, and Pākehā and Tauri, the settlers, and all else who share in our special islands. This new structure also puts our lived experience networks alongside geographically based provinces in decision making for a range of important matters, and this means that there are a range of new ways that people can engage. The groups that have been given an elevated platform in our new structure include the Aotearoa Global Greens, or Greens Global, and that's for New Zealanders based overseas, of which there are 1 million, 5 million people in the country. There's also Green Women, Inclusive Greens, which is our disability network, Pacifica Greens, the Rural Greens, and Young Greens. So we're looking forward to kōrero, or talk, and share ideas with all of you over the next 4 days, and work to strengthen links and bonds and friendship with all of our green friends and colleagues in the Asia Pacific and all over the world. We have an election this year on October 14th, which will either see a shift to the conservative right in New Zealand, or we will see the most progressive government that our country has ever seen, with the Greens at the heart of it. The Green Party has led the way on tackling climate change, reducing inequality, and protecting nature. We're proud of our track record. With more of us in Parliament next term, we'll go further and faster to achieve more visionary change. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you, and greetings to all.
And lastly, we have the Australian Greens.
Hello everyone, Yama from Trish's language. We pay respect to elders in country where we are here, and we bring with us our own history of going back thousands of years, generations of our own elders and ancestors in our spiritual connection to our own country, and we bring that energy with us to this conference of the Asia Pacific Greens Federation and also to the Global Greens Congress. Just quickly introduce our colleagues from the First Nations Network, the Australian Greens First Nations Network, Deputy Secretary James Williams, Sophia, Jesse and Trish. So we're a mixture of administrators, we're co-conveners, and in other capacity we're also Greens councillors from our local government Greens councillors in New South Wales. And just very quickly, with part of this acknowledgement, we'd just like to quickly tell you about the formation of the Australian Greens First Nations Network. Up until about 2019-2020, there were discussions in the Australian Greens, and we were very glad that in 2020, which was symbolic for us, because if you know the history of Australia, there was 150 years celebration of the British explorer, navigator, Captain Cook in that 2020 time. But we were very fortunate and very lucky and very well supported and strong in our efforts to have the Greens Party of Australia change their constitution and include First Nations people around the National Council decision-making body, and to have Indigenous First Nations people at the decision-making table, and to also set up a mechanism for us as First Nations people to attend the equivalent of what we have in Australia as the Australian Greens Conference, the equivalent of the Global Greens Congress that we are all participating in here. So we had to fight hard, but with support we got those things. We have had senators in Parliament of the First Nations Network connection. We still have, and we are fighting for the recognition of sovereignty that underlies our motivation to involve ourselves in politics and to involve ourselves here in the Asia Pacific Greens Federation. So that's a quick history of our formation as Australian Greens First Nations Network, and you will see in some of the statistics, some of those things are reflected. So we thank the Australian Greens, we thank the thank you. We thank the Australian Greens for the support. We thank you, Asia Pacific Greens Federation, for your support to be part of this forum for the Global Greens Congress, and we thank our hosts from the Greens Party of Korea for hosting us here on country. Thank you.
I'm one of our 15 federal MPs from the Greens in Australia. Sadly, I'm the only one who's able to join us because this Congress is right in the middle of sitting weeks, but I managed to get away, which was great. And it's so lovely to be here with you and amongst the Global Greens family. I've been to every one of the Global Greens Congresses, and it's just so uplifting to get that sense of camaraderie and people working together for social justice, for the environment, for peace and non-violence and democracy. So as I said, we've got 15 Greens MPs in the federal parliament. You heard from Jenny earlier on, our state MPs, I can't remember how many, lots, and lots of local government councillors. And I'm now going to hand over to Kathy, who's got a bit of a slideshow just to sort of outline some more about the Australian Greens. So looking forward to working with you over the next 4 days.
Hello everyone. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a heavy cold and it's so wonderful to be here. As you can see, Australians love travelling, which is why there's so many of us here. And in fact, some of the delegates haven't actually come and presented their faces, but you know, it's actually wonderful to be here. This is a short slideshow, really just celebrating the Australian Greens in recent times, which has managed to become the third most significant political party in Australia, and has balance of power in certain areas and in some states. So we feel very happy about that. I'll go through this fairly quickly because I realise that we don't have long for lunch. There we go. We would like to acknowledge our hosts, of course, and all Greens members and members here of the parties and friends. So great to see you face to face from the Asia Pacific Greens Federation, and we pay our respects to all First Nations people here. It's just a little bit of a rave about the Greens. You've heard about the First Nations Network, and you've heard we're a confederation of 8 state and territory parties. We have elected representatives at all levels of government, from local councillors and mayors to state and territory MPs to federal MPs and senators. At the moment we have 15 federal MPs, as we've heard, 27 state MPs and more than 100 local government councillors. We have a large number of members nationally, but we have a lot more supporters. So we have a great network of supporters really, as well as paid up members. These are some faces to those from the First Nations Network who were not able to come here this week. It's wonderful to have this network. It's changed the Greens and will continue to change the Greens in Australia. At the federal election, as I was saying, it was just last year, we secured more than 2 million first preference votes, and we increased our vote in every state and territory. We were happy to win 6 new seats and retain 4 seats. So, all in all, the party room down in Canberra was increased by about 50%, which is, you know,
wonderful.
You know, our core messages are very much about saving the planet, having a positive vision, and one of the other messages for the election was kick the Liberals out, which is a very right-wing government that we had for many years, put the Greens in balance of power, and we certainly kicked the Liberals out, and the Greens have balance of power in the upper house. We had about 137 costed policy initiatives that went to the election on, and they were quite progressive in the way that many of you have spoken about some of the key issues facing your countries and your parties. the same issues are similar in Australia. They were impressive and they were comprehensive. That's just a snapshot of some of the candidates.
I'm there at the top.
Oh, yeah, there. I beg your pardon. Actually, we're going to get everyone to introduce themselves very soon. We had about 22,000 people volunteer across Australia for the election, which was a huge increase from the previous election. And we had about 13,500 people just who volunteered on election day nationally. This was a little video, which I don't think I can play, but don't worry, because we are rushed. But we had 500,000 views every day on either YouTube or some of the other social media, which was a 300% increase in online followers as well to our Australian Greens pages. So we certainly embraced a lot of young people who did a lot of the social media, and we're speaking to young people and to the new generation that are going to go forward and help make the changes that we need to see. Door knocking was very big, and we love door knocking in Australia. I don't know whether it's a big thing in a lot of Asia Pacific. Time out, okay. Okay, off we go. We knocked on a lot of doors. Fundraising. A few keys to success. But the biggest one is results like the ones that we achieved last year take many years, and they take passion, commitment, foresight and imagination, which I know everyone in this room has, and everyone has a vision for a greener future. So we stand with you, and we're so happy to be here. Thank you. Before I go, I just would like people just to quickly say who they are so that you can connect with them we don't have time? Sorry, we don't have time. Anyway.
Maybe at the back of the room, but we actually have to really run to get to the opening ceremony bit. But the first thing we're going to do is a photo of APGF. So if everyone could come to the front of the room, and we're going to have a group photo. And then you have to get ready to go for the opening ceremony in the ballroom, it's called, downstairs. We should change the slide, thank you. So thank you to all our speakers, thank you to all coming, really great to have you all. Look forward to all the sessions everyone's participating in, and good luck, enjoy the Congress. Everyone to the front, please. Everyone.
Are you not sure? It's like 20 minutes. I got so Keiko, where I got to can I don't know whether can I show you what they had some pastries. And this is our network. Yesterday I saw one contribution from Japan about robots. And,
For people on Zoom at home, we're doing a group photo of the delegates that are at the APGF forum. Thank you for joining us, all the Zoom people at home. The session's ending now.
yes.
Recordings.
Yes.
Sing. Excuse me. Sorry. You're from Taiwan. Taiwan, yeah. So, hi, Axel from Deutschland, from Hong Kong. I'm basically here. Which is this event you were talking about? Tomorrow evening, you are doing at the Taiwan group? No, I mean tomorrow evening. I mean, you're somebody from the group of Taiwan.
I'm also an actor and I do television commercials, so I know exactly how to perform to a camera, all right? So, the reason I want to speak to you today is because there's 6 First Nations people here from Australia. We are the founding members of the Australian Greens First Nations Network. We are the First Nations people of our country of Australia. And 6 years ago, in Victoria, in Australia, the Australian Greens, or the Victorian Greens, was founded by myself and 2 other members of the Victorian Greens. For varying reasons, those 2 people have left the party. I'm the only original founding member of the Australian Greens, or the Victorian Greens, which eventually became the Australian Greens First Nations Network 4 years ago. We are known around Australia in the Greens as the Black Greens. We are here now today in Korea for the Global Greens Conference in 2023 as a group of 6 First Nations members of the Australian Greens First Nations Network to do some work to found the First Nations or the Indigenous Greens right across the country, in every single country on this planet. And I spoke before about the importance of the knowledge of your Indigenous people. I gave examples of my people and what we have to offer our country. And I spoke about how for over 200 years, our knowledge and our systems that actually made our country and kept our country beautiful before, from people from overseas came to our country, they're starting to realise now that our knowledge, our Indigenous knowledge, is incredibly important and it's so much to offer to our country. We would like to see that happen right across the planet, where every country actually reaches out and gathers the knowledge from their Indigenous people so that they can learn and make their country a better place. But also keeping in mind to base it on the 4 pillars of the Australian Greens, and also through consensus making. We know we're the only political party on the planet that is spread right across the planet. There are other parties with similar names, but they're not all connected. We are connected, so we have the ability to be able to make a difference to our entire planet. But it's important that you include the wisdom and the knowledge of your Indigenous people.